Now, when the Common Core standards first came out, I was like everybody else and went directly to my grade level standards to see what I needed to teach. Now, that's common because we got to figure out what has changed, what am I responsible for helping my kids understand. But when I did that, I missed 3 pages that I feel like are some of the most important information that were in the standards. Now, whether you use Common Core or not, almost every state is using the math practice standards. Well, officially it's the standards for mathematical practice, but I always mix that around and call them the math practice standards, or for short, the practice standards. So I'm Christina Tondeval, the recovering traditionalist, and I hope you'll stick around for the next few minutes while we investigate how to teach the math practice standards on our quest to build our math minds so that we can build the math minds of our students. Now, the first thing I really want to hit home with you is actually that you can't teach them. I know, that's kind of weird because this video is all about how to teach them, but technically you can't teach them. These aren't standards that are for us as teachers. They are the standards of how our students should engage with the mathematics. It's how the kids should be interacting. So your content standards tell you what you need to teach, but the practice standards, in my eyes, are how we engage the students when we are doing the content. So really, you can only provide experiences for your students that help them engage in the math practice standards. You cannot directly teach them. Now, here's a perfect example of how we try to teach them, but sometimes it goes wrong. So math practice standard number 1 is all about helping kids be able to solve rich problems and persevere when solving problems. Now, our attempt to kind of teach that math practice standard ends up looking something like this. All right? Have you seen ones like this? You may even have them up on your wall. And these are good intentioned type of anchor charts to help kids really grapple with solving story problems. However, it becomes a prescribed procedure that kids don't have to really struggle with. So one of the points of math practice number 1 is to get kids to really struggle with problems and learn what to do when they don't instantly know what to do. And so we try to help them by giving them steps, but that's not what the math practice standard number 1 is really about. So we've got to just provide kids opportunities to help them explore and interact with the mathematics, but sometimes that can kind of be prescribed step by step by step. So that's the first thing I really want you to understand is that the practice standards, we can't teach them to kids. We can only provide experiences. All right, the second big thing that I wanted to talk to you about when trying to teach the math practice standards, because we can't teach them, we can just provide experiences. But the second thing is that we can't do all the practice standards at once, right? It's impossible to try to focus on all 8 of those practice standards, okay? Because some of them do work well together, but other ones don't work well together. So you've got to know about all of them and kind of keep them in the back of your mind and be able to kind of enhance the experiences you're providing for the students when you see the opportunity arise. But you can also have maybe 1 or 2 that you're really wanting to focus on and that you're hoping that the lesson will bring out that opportunity. So you can kind of plan your lesson with 1 or 2 of them in mind, but always have the others in the back of your head. And if the opportunity comes up, say, oh man, that's a great way that we could do this practice standard, just in your mind. You don't say that out loud to the kids, but in your mind, have that there. Because really, if you try to focus on all of them, it's just going to fall flat. So know about all of them and then focus on 1 or 2 in a lesson. Now, it's not to say that every lesson needs to be bringing this out. There are times when kids just need to be practicing. But hey, guess what? that gets a math practice that is all about attending to precision, that you're practicing them getting accurate answers. So I believe that everything that you do in your math lesson can somehow relate back to one of those 8 practice standards. So be looking at those. Now, my last takeaway that I want you to know about teaching the math standards, the math practice standards, is I want you to really spend some time investigating these. If your district has spent time doing that, that is awesome. But if you haven't spent time, I want to encourage you to really dig into those. Now, here's the actual 3 pages from the Common Core State Standards. If you download the PDF, these are pages 6 through 8, and you can get those at corestandards.org. But below this video, or click the link if you're watching this somewhere else, you can get the download that I've created. It's basically like a cheat sheet that summarizes each one of the practice standards, tells you what it is, why it's important, and really how you can do it in your classroom. So it's not, again, about directly teaching, but it's about how you can provide experiences that would allow kids to engage in these practice standards. So that is the download that goes along with this video. But really spend time investigating it, because your curriculum will say off to the side that it does this practice standard and this practice standard and this practice standard. But does it really? Because oftentimes I have seen ones that say, oh yeah, we do this practice standard and this practice standard. And then I look at it, I'm like, I'm not really seeing that. For example, when it says that we're working on math practice that is all about modeling with mathematics, and then step by step by step in the lesson, it tells them how to use the model. That's not modeling with mathematics. Modeling with mathematics is really getting to delve into it and decide, what model should I use to model this problem? When we are giving the model directly to the kids and telling them exactly how to use it, that's not truly what modeling with mathematics is. So I want you to dive into those 8 practice standards if you have not already, and really get to know them. Now, my cheat sheet is there. And in that cheat sheet, I also recommend 2 books that are fabulous books. Susan O'Connell and John Sangiovanni, I'm probably going to say his name wrong, have a great book called Putting the Practice Standards into Action. And Mike Flynn has a great one called Beyond Answers that really looks at how those practice standards relate to the early grades for pre-K to second. So those are 2 great resources as well. Now, it's not just about looking to see what your textbook says the activity is, but when you're doing an activity, sometimes the activity in your book can be fabulous. And so here's my word of caution, is that sometimes as teachers, we get in the way of the practice standards actually happening. So we'll give kids this fabulous open-ended problem, but the moment that they struggle, we jump in. Maybe you don't, but I sure did. As soon as I saw them struggling, I wanted to help. It was just our nature, right? We want them to be able to be successful. So it's really hard for us to let the kids really engage and struggle with the mathematics. And that's really what the practice standards are about, is letting kids dig into the math without us getting in the way of that learning. Now, it's not to say that we can't help them along the way, but sometimes we've got to take a step back and pause for a while before we jump in. So look for great activities, but also be cautious of yourself, because sometimes we get in the way, and be cautious of what your textbook says. It may say that it's doing a great job of hitting these practice standards, but are they really? So get the cheat sheet that goes along with this video that's all about each of the practice standards, what they are, why they're important, and the things that you can be doing in your classroom to help develop these practice standards in your kids, because it's all about what the kids are doing with the mathematics, not about what we do in the classroom. Hope this helped you build your math minds so you can go build the math minds of your students.